people are so unused to being complimented, not just to compliment somebody, but if they like your haircut or people like glasses, you say something. I mean, you say that, oftentimes people say, wow, thank you. You made my day. Yeah. And I think making a simple 2.1 second compliment about someone's hair or their glasses or whatever, it makes it nice.
Absolutely.
If everybody did that, we'd have a much better world.
Whether you're seeking balance, growth, or simply a bit of inspiration, Way Through is here to guide you. Let's embark on this journey together, because no matter the challenge, there's always a way through. Hey everybody, it's Keith McPherson here, and today on the podcast, I'm going to be speaking with Ned Grossman and Shelly Lazarus all about the art of relationship. So let's get into it. All right, Ned, Shelly, thank you so much for joining me here. It's great to be here at your beautiful cabin property in Ohio. And we're going to talk a little bit about relationships today. You guys being, to me, one of the examples of a relationship that seems to be working, but a lot of people these days are really struggling with keeping relationships together. The divorce rates are higher than they've ever been. But before we get into all that, I want to understand a little bit about how you guys met and the story of your relationship.
Ladies first. Pressure's on.
It's a bittersweet and beautiful story. I was good friends with Ned's first wife, Sherry, and we raised our families in the same community in Shaker Heights, Ohio. She and I would meet some mornings and go walking before we'd each go home, shower, and go to work. And very unfortunately, Sherry was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. To her credit, because she was so phenomenal and had wonderful care and was so determined, she lived almost 5 years, 5.5 years, and all but the last few months of those were good. Wow. And when she passed away, it was a summer that, after 30 years of marriage, I was going through a divorce. Continue on good terms, but had run its course. And Ned said he wanted to do a couple things that Sherry had intended to do. And I had just moved, and she wanted to come see me in my new place. And he came over and basically never left.
Well, it was the lovely condo she moved into. I said, boy, that's pretty nice. I ended up buying another condo, literally 1/10 of a mile from her, and one thing led to another, and here we are 16 years later.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys are reminding me of a quote from the Tao Te Ching, and it talks about, let yourself be totally empty, let your mind be at peace, and this is the part that it reminds me of, amidst the rush of worldly coming and going, notice how endings make way for new beginnings. And what I find really fascinating about your story is that you both had to go through endings in order to find this beginning. And I'm curious about the process for you of what it was like to go through the ending before the new beginning of meeting each other. I'm sure you both have different perspectives on that. How did you deal with the endings?
Well, I had been separated for several years. We'd been going through this process. And when Ned came over that first time, we had a lovely time. We were talking. I'm thinking, I'm doing this for Sherry because I know how concerned she was. And it just was easy. And it was also very soon after she had passed away. And I guess that was very loaded for both of us and also for so many other loved ones. And I think because I love her and miss her also, there was room to do that together.
Well, I think the situations are a lot different. You went through a divorce, which took a long period of time, a lot of decisions on your part that had yes and no opportunities along the way. when Sherry died, that was the end of a situation. You can't change it. So it manifests in life. Focus on the things over which you have input, impact, and control. One. And two, it's not what happens to you, but it's how you choose or work out what did happen that impacts you. So I was fortunate that this fellow, and we have a little plaque at home, says, how did this happen? Because the probabilities are very small, but we're very blessed to what happened. So stuff happens, and you have to put it behind you, accept it for what it was and what it is, and not be concerned about why this, why that. In fact, Sherry, she ate right, exercised, did everything the book would say to be right, and all of a sudden she's diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. How'd that happen? She asked the doctors, not in a nasty, just out of curiosity, how'd this happen? It was a random act. Well, how do you avoid random acts? You don't. So she was really amazing over 5 years, working with this disease and the surgery and all that stuff. But so that's a good, as people grow and learn and age, you have to adapt and adjust and accept what happened and make the best out of it. And thank you.
Amazing. I can only imagine what it must have been like to navigate, the ending of Sherry and then also the divorce that you went through, and then finding each other. And it's such a mix of emotions between like the letting go and then this sort of new beginning and all the excitement and joy that can come from a new relationship. I'm curious, how did you guys know when this was going to work? What were some of the indicators where it's like this, we've got it. We've got something good here.
You gotta go first. Well, you have a very, very good phrase. If you're not attached to the outcome, things are softer, gentler. And when we started seeing each other, it was your line about not being attached to the outcome.
Well, we had a lovely evening talking, and Ned asked if I wanted to get together again, and he came over. We had dinner. It was outside on the patio, and it was actually, so the whole story is he had invited me for dinner. He was coming home from the farm, and he called and he said, instead of going out, I stopped at a farm stand and I picked up some fresh corn and some fresh tomatoes. Why don't we make dinner at your house? I'm like, okay. And I scrambled, I pulled things out, and he walked in and he looked at the counter. He said, I need to tell you, I don't like garlic. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like red peppers, and onions. I don't like onions. I said, you might as well go home because this is how I cook. I've learned to chop them up very finely so he doesn't know.
Oh, that's funny.
And his taste expanded a little. But it actually was quite, I had moved into a smaller little cluster home, a new home, and I was rebuilding the life that I wanted to live in my means and with grace and intention. And I was actually not looking. I did not want to be involved or get involved. And I got very skittish when we had several nice times. And I haven't planned this. This is not, and like, I'm.
She's a planner.
I'm like just, wallowing in a wonderful way in my new, like, what do I want to do? Answering only to me and thinking only of me within, means of confines of family. And I was actually, you'll appreciate this because I actually was like, oh, no, this isn't in my plan. I don't want to, I'm not looking to get involved. And then I just stopped myself and I said, just one, the universe provides. And the other was not being attached to an outcome. If it feels good today, do it again tomorrow. And I think I had stayed, I loved our family life. I loved our married life for a long time. Things changed. And I had stayed in a marriage longer because I was attached to an outcome and committed to the sanctity of that. And so it was very helpful to enjoy the process. You always talk about things unfolding, to enjoy the process of this unfolding, because if it was good today, we'd do it again tomorrow. And there was no decision other than, do I want to do this again? And so that it just took on its own pace.
When you first told me that, that's one of the first things I did is I went to I have a things list that comes up every day on my phone. And I wrote that down. Do I want to do this again tomorrow? I just love that phrase because it really makes you question the present moment and not thinking way too far out to something that you have absolutely no control over anyway. So as I'm hearing you speak about this, I'm thinking about the power of presence in a relationship, the present moment, and having the choice to go, do I want to continue this or not?
Yeah. As we were evolving, Shelly's much younger than I am, and she had a position that wasn't as flexible as my work position. So I could leave and go when I want. She could. And in the conversation, very similar to what we're having here. And I didn't plan it. I didn't write it. It just flowed. Ikapona mea, let it unfold, whatever it was. I said, you're never as young or as healthy as you are today. Basic reality. Number two, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy time and you can't buy health. Number three, if you knew you weren't going to be here tomorrow, what would you do today? And you put those three things in a little box with the ribbon on it. It's like, input, impact, and control. So if we think about those three things, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's sports, what would you do tomorrow if you knew you weren't going to be here today? And it helps focus where you're going.
It was very crystallizing because it came in as part of a conversation where Ned asked if I would consider retiring so we could lead the life we're privileged to lead. And he did have more flexibility and was at an age where he was ready to do that. And I didn't have the flexibility and I didn't really the financial wherewithal. I was rebuilding. So when he said that, it's true.
Yeah. Then you talk about the KISS principle. Keep it simple. Get some basic precepts, concepts, ideas that resonate with you, and then put them into place. And if it's simple, so you take those three things, they're pretty simple.
Keep it simple. We can't say stupid anymore. Keep it simple.
Keep it short, simple, short and sweet.
Keep it short and sweet. I love that. I'm curious, as well, what would you guys say are some of the things that have made your relationship work most successfully? Like especially for couples that are watching this, that are trying to navigate the waters of a relationship. What are some of the things that have really made it work for you guys successfully?
Listen to her. Do what she suggests.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned this.
I don't want to get teary. For me, it's knowing that Ned is a person who does what he says and says what he does. And I may not always like what he says or like what he does, but I know that he's always honest and to never question that. And I think also for me to know that we both were committed to make space to have whatever conversations, hard as they might be. I think.
Still Tory, that's
well, yeah. And if there's something where somebody had once advised me for something you're uncertain about, you don't know, go toward it rather than avoid it and creating what you imagine and all of that. And so there was just something. It was sort of an unspoken. It's how we both are.
Honesty is not only the best policy; it's the only policy. So having truth, honesty, integrity, decency goes a long way.
I love that. Wow.
And I think and that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty. And honesty to yourself, because she said there are times when I, much more than she, does something she's not thrilled about. Well, at the time I did it, it seemed like the right thing to me. And maybe a week or a month or a year down the road, you find, well, it might not have been the best thing, but it wasn't an egregious kind of intentional act or omission. It's just, we all make mistakes and say things we may not be so proud of or happy about, but it's called life.
I think also getting together when we're both older there's something different for me anyway. When you're younger, you're trying to create our life. And meeting at this stage in our lives, we both bring 2 full lives, which, I mean, people always do, but it was more established. And so no one's trying to influence change. It's about accepting, respecting, valuing. And I think for me anyway, I think that was the difference.
I love that. You know, Wayne Dyer, one of our mentors.
Oh, of course, Wayne Dyer. He's here too. He's the 4th person.
He's here in the room. He's the 4th entity. But he used to say, you love the things you love for what they are, not for what you want them to be, you know? And I just loved that quote.
That's exactly right.
Things and people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see that unfolding, being with the 2 of you in relationship and just witnessing it, that you allow each other to be exactly who you are. I'm sure there's moments where, you know, I'd rather you not do this or that, but I really do see you unfolding that way of allowing each other to be who you are, and the art of appreciation as well. The Gottman Institute talks about this. I don't know the exact numbers, but they say for every 1 negative, you need, I think it's at least 7 positive affirmations to counter the negative, whatever it is. And
oh my gosh. Ned is I must say, he's the master at positive affirmations, at compliments. And at one point I looked at him, I said, do I look uncertain? Like, do you think I'm unsure?
Might have been this morning, by the way.
and because it's flowing. It's lovely. And at some point I was like, I feel good. I'm okay. And you know, I love and adore you, and you're okay. But go ahead.
No. But what you said, it, people are so unused to being complimented, not, just to compliment somebody, but, if I like your haircut, or people like glasses, you say something. You say that, oftentimes people say, wow, thank you. You made my day.
Yeah.
And I think making a simple 2.1 second compliment about someone's hair or their glasses or whatever, it just makes it nice.
Absolutely.
If everybody did that, we'd have a much better world.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to close up our conversation here, I'd love for you both to take a moment and just share with each other one thing you appreciate about each other currently in this moment.
Ladies first.
It works for you, doesn't it?
It's the truth. You want me to
So polite.
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's just being here, and Shelly's willingness to participate in this, because she was a little reluctant. And I always say, what's the downside? First of all, it's being taped, so you could eradicate anything that you didn't like. So but no, it's be yourself to one another, first to yourself, and then to someone else. And it really works. Yeah. So I'm appreciative. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. And I'd say to you, I appreciate your equanimity, your full presence, and it's just an honor and privilege to be by your side every day. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to believe all this. It's true.
It's true.
Take this out of the thing. But no, we're very lucky. And, our kids, we're blessed with great kids, great grandchildren. So we're very fortunate in all aspects of all our lives, I would say.
Ned, Shelly, thank you so much for joining me here and inspiring us with the art of relationship.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for having us.
To be in relationship and friendship with you is an honor for both of us.
Oh, same here.